Alright, so we got some servos for the different control surfaces here now. There's not one on this side, but anyway, I got the wire running through here on this one, so they're all on the same side. And these control rods are just paper clips, which you can probably see from there because it's HD. We got 9-gram servos, Hobby Kings, and this batch of servos that we got that one time came with black horns instead of white like they used to have. So that will be just about perfect for this because we got black here, so it won't show up very much except for the wires. And of course we got these that came from some old kits that we never used the parts from for that. So
where's the rudder servo?
the rudder servo is right here. Then we got the elevons here and here.
Okay.
So we did 3 test flights yesterday, but every time we had problems. So the first time we had, when we test flew it, we ended up with not enough power. The prop, which is not on there anymore, was too wimpy for it. In fact, it didn't even drain the battery much just doing those test flights at the beginning there. On the second round of test flights, we put a bigger prop on there with the prop saver still, but then it had so much power that it ripped the prop completely off the motor and damaged the frame a little bit. Which some of the evidence of that is still visible. Like right here, we have a crack. We have some cracks back here that I had to re-glue. It's got some crack there. But anyway, it tore it up a little bit. But at least it's all in one piece still. So then, but then when the prop came off that one time and whacked, it basically got a different motor now too. But when it whacked the frame from it being on the prop saver, I think it was. Yeah, the prop saver. When it popped off the prop saver, it whacked the frame or something, and when it came off of the prop saver, it hit the frame so hard that it literally torqued the coils inside the motor and spun them on the mount, which was bad. And that messed up the motor. I had to do some repairs to the motor, but then we decided, after the third test, we decided to put a different motor on. The third test, we had tried to put a prop adapter, somewhat like this, but it was just one of those press fit ones. And it wasn't put on there right, and we had it as tight as we could possibly get it, but it just popped off and nicked the prop again. In fact, this is the same prop from that test that was nicked. We just nicked it some more on the other side and smoothed it out a little bit. It was every time on this kind of prop, it nicked it on the inside on test 2 and 3. It didn't nick it on the edge, which was really surprising. You would think it would nick it way out here somewheres, but no, it nicked it right in here. So finally we got the new motor on. We haven't tested this yet, but this has a threaded shaft on it, and by the way, that's a rubber washer there. That rubber washer keeps this from turning because it doesn't have any like ripples on it or anything to grip it. So we have that there to fix that. But anyway, this is a threaded prop adapter that's made for this motor specifically, and this is a different motor. So it's actually a little bit more powerful than the motor we had on there, but about the same speed. So we'll see how that does. It might even have more power now and be able to do more than just lift its own weight. Now, one problem is because the frame got torn up, we noticed that this whole front edge, this whole front here, was kind of weak. So on the third, before we did the third test though, we added this spar right here, and we had some popsicle sticks glued to the bottom, which I removed now. After the third test, we strengthened it further. We left this on there, as you can see, as this way it is now. And then I took a piece of thin plywood here, and it was actually already the right size to fit. I just found it laying around. It was already the right size, so I don't know what size it is exactly. And I don't expect to have to deliver any plans either. So, but anyway, I cut some notches there and drilled some holes for the zip ties. And I epoxied it on there and actually held it by hand for like 15 minutes at like 10 o'clock at night, trying to wait for this darn thing to dry. And then I hot melted around the edge, and then I screwed this little piece of board here to hold the motor mount itself, clamping it to the foam. And that's real strong now, real strong. In fact, the screw for this block here goes not only into the block for the motor mount, but into that carbon fiber rod that's inside the motor mount as well. So it's locked down really securely. So, and the battery for it that we chose seems to work okay, so that's not the problem. Now, as for the light module, this servo outputs on here are kind of jittery, and I've been having troubles getting the light module to switch sound valves and stuff with it. So that's another thing to investigate on. So we kept the same ESC. In fact, it's got a 4 amp BEC, so that's good there. We'll just power the speaker off of that and the other 5 volt circuitry. And as for the lights, they'll come straight off another battery. So that's pretty much what all happened in the last couple of days. So this is the UNFNB. It's coming along. And again, we got the threaded thing there, so that should do it pretty good. And see you on the tube.